Hey guys, and welcome back to Jay's Retro Reactions. Today I'm going to be reacting to Taistelukentta 1998, following my reaction to Taistelukentta 2020. A very kind Finnish commenter and subscriber of mine translated, because there's no English subtitles on this video that we could find, translated all the Finnish for me, including the song, the news reporters, and little explanations of what's happening in each section of the video. So much appreciation to you, you know who you are. And it was so kind of you to take the time out to do that for me. So I appreciate it, mate. Really do. The gentleman who did the translation for me also explained that this video used to be shown to people newly arrived in for conscription service. Help make them understand what the purpose of being there was. Because, yeah, you're dragged away from your family, your home, your friends, you're young, you want to be out partying. But there's a greater purpose here. And that purpose is defending your country and knowing how to defend your country, because this may very well happen one day, like what we've seen in the 2020 video. And you may be called upon, and you need to know the skills, how to defend yourself, your family, and your homeland. So I really, again, I said it in the 2020 video, I really like the idea, and I wish to God we had it here. But I'm not going to go on that rant again. I did it in the last video. So anyway, guys, as I always say, enough of me talking. Let's get on with the show.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring.
So just in the opening minute, we're seeing lots of examples of Finnish culture, Finnish heritage, Finnish art through the music and the song, which the translator set out for me about the Northern Star, the magenta beneath it, etc. The pride Finnish people have in their homeland. And here we see, as again explained to me by the translator, some border guards on patrol in Lapland. So very stirring for a Finnish native person to see this at the start of their conscription service. I really like it. So I understand again from that kind translator that Finland won the World Ice Hockey Championship in 1995. A belated congratulations, Finland. Fair play to you. For a small country, I know you're up against the US and Canada and a few other big countries, Russia. So good achievement. We don't play ice hockey in Ireland. We don't have the ice for it, to be honest. And we play a sport called hurling, which is, if you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. It's like a cross between murder and hockey, is the way Jason Statham described it in one film, The Transporter, I think. But again, I do like that sense of pride in your nationalism, and that's a good thing to have. It's a thing often maligned in Europe today. It's often associated with the far right and all of this crap that people come out with. It's okay to have pride in your country and your heritage and your culture. I'm not going to go in that it doesn't need diversification. That's a whole different story for a different video, but you know what I mean. I like this. Really do. question, guys. Why did they take this bit of the video that was I found so powerful of the 1998 video? Why was that removed? Because we didn't see any of that in the 2020 version. We didn't see Finnish culture, Finnish heritage, Finnish music, Finnish people, all the stuff that you are fighting for if you're invaded. And that was missing, and it's a notable omission to me, looking at it as an outsider, from the 2020 remake. And I have to ask, was that down to political correctness? As in, there's no such thing as Finnish culture anymore, there's too many white people? Is it? Is that the reason they did it? Because to me it's a big omission. Maybe I'm wrong, someone let me know in the comments.
Suomen ja Ruotsin sotilaallinen yhteistyö on edelleen tiivistymässä.
Baltian maiden pääministerit tapaavat tämänpäiväisessä hätäkokouksessa. Suomessa harkitaan viisumipakon käyttöönottoa.
Ilmatilan loukkaukset ovat viime viikkoina lisääntyneet rajusti.
Ruotsi on asettanut sekä ilma- että merivoimansa täyteen valmiuteen.
Eduskunta on tänään hyväksynyt heti käyttöön otettavaksi eräitä valmiuslain säädöksiä.
Pääministeri rauhoitti kansalaisia eilisessä vappupuheessaan. Maltti on nyt.
Päivän aikana pääkaupunkiseudulla selittämättömiä häiriöitä.
Yksityisautoilun rajoittamista koskevat pitkään odotetut määräykset astuvat voimaan huomenna.
Päätös siirtää yhä suurempi osa kauppamerenkulusta Pohjanlahden satamiin vaikeuttaa erityisesti.
Tässä TV-uutisten ylimääräinen uutislähetys. Hornet-torjuntahävittäjä on tänään ammuttu alas Suomenlahden yläpuolella. Ilmavoimien esikunta on vahvistanut tapahtuman.
Kaupalliset radioasemat on alistettu Yleisradion johtoon. Viranomaiset kehottavat.
Pääkaupunkiseudun väestön evakuointi on aloitettu tänään Helsingin.
Eduskunta on tänään päättänyt puolustustilalain säädösten käyttöönotosta.
So I'm just after listening to the newscaster's reports there, and again using the kind translator's notes that he provided to me. My understanding is that the Netherlands, the UK, France have reinstated the draft. Baltic state prime ministers are meeting in London for an emergency meeting. NATO has begun drills in Germany. The Hornet was shot down. It's a Finnish Hornet, and they're preparing to evacuate Helsinki. And I know there's a couple other things as well, but that's the general gist from the notes that the translator gave me. Again, we see the use of patrol checkpoints in the cities to check for saboteurs. We see the reservists getting called up and being made ready for war and for battle. Preparation of defences, digging in, digging trenches, sandbagging, protection of the ports. All good, clever stuff. Laying of mines, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they looked actually like anti-personnel mines rather than anti-tank mines. Okay, sisu. I know that word from the film with the same name. According to that film, there is no direct translation into English. Again, someone let me know if that's incorrect. again, just from looking at the preparations the Finnish forces are doing here, they very much seem to plan to defend the cities and not give them up to the larger force. At the time of the making of this video in 1998, was that the plan? As I already explained in the last video what the Irish plan would be: give up the cities, retreat to the countryside, leave guerrillas in the cities to harass, but the main force would disperse to the countryside and engage in hit and run tactics in flying columns and in platoons organised for ambushes and harassing supply lines and just making the enemy's life a misery. So Finnish plan, as I said, seems to be hold the cities at all costs until it's not feasible.
Torjutaan osasto hävittäjillä. Koneet lähtee Tampereelta ja Vilppaalta. Parvi molemmista.
Selvä.
Tampereelta ja Vilppaalta lähtee.
Heikki 01, torjuntatehtävä, maali, napa 5, 3, 180, 100. Heikki 01.
Hetken taistuu toiminta. Taistelutarkoitus. Maali, suunta.
Heikki 01, napa 5, 3, 180, 98. Sinun maali.
Puhua maalit 1 ja 3. Maalit 1 ja 3. Aukaisen. Exit, omalla maali. Teko.
I presume those missiles are anti-aircraft missiles. They look like them. I don't know what type though. The insignia on that guy that was talking into the headset there, I presume 3 chevrons mean sergeant as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Laukaisen. Mitä me seurataan? Laukaisen. Uusia maaleja suunnassa 3-3. Typeille hälytys.
No niin, ilmahälytys. Ilmahälytys. Useita koneita etelästä. Tuntuuko susta vasta? Laatikot painaa enemmän.
So it looks like we're at an ammo depot, which I was asking about in the last video because we didn't see it in 2020 where the ammo was and how it was being distributed. So here we have an ammo depot, the ammo being loaded onto trucks to get out to the reservists and the people being called up.
Maali, 25 Otto, 4 Daavid, useita matalalla pohjoiseen.
Looking at the camo the guys have, I think I prefer the camo you have in the modern video comparing to this. Okay, the troops are coming under artillery barrage. Looks like artillery rather than airstrike. practical effects here look far more well done than the other video, because we've seen very little explosions and stuff other than a couple of anti-tank weapons being shot, and obviously poor guy having to come to terms with the loss of his comrade, and again making that mistake of a rookie, and he is a rookie in action, of climbing out of his foxhole. What weapon is that guy holding? Is it an AK? I'm trying to see, I only can see the barrel and the magazine.
Karpala! Ja rauhoitusmaisvarikolla ei oo mitään hätää.
Some old style medic treatment, packing the wound, bit of morphine. He's wearing the Red Cross, I get that off him now. We've seen how the Russians treat medics in The Unknown Soldier and Tavasoda. Also in Ruka Yavarn T.
Suuntimo 3, suunta 220. Vihollinen näyttää keskittävän joukkoja tälle alueelle.
Lähetä pikailmoitus.
Sain.
Maahanlaskuvalmisteluista on saatu viitteitä lähinnä rannikolla ja selustassa. Kettukylän alueelle on laskettu maahan ainakin 2 komppaniaa ja Paavinkylään pataljoona. Molemmat ovat moottoroita.
Komentaja! Huoltokeskukseen on tehty voimakas ilmaisku. Viestiyhteyttä keskukseen ei ole. Tilanne on siellä sekava.
So I presume this crew in the truck are trying to do counter battery and trying to locate the enemy's artillery to do counter battery fire. And one thing I forgot to mention in the 2020 video, we didn't see any attempt to block communications and to intercept encrypted communications. So I wonder why that was.
Panssarivaunu. Kuorma-auto. Kuorma-auto.
Tarvike täyspanos sirpalle granaatti. Maaliraivaajat 120 granaattia. Torjukaa, ampukaa.
Etumainen raivaaja!
Etumainen raivaaja!
4 kertaa! Ampukaa!
The naval gun batteries are now firing on the enemy ships. Looks like you have some good concrete bunkers there. I presume they're still in place. So here we have a full-on beach invasion.
Saatana joka paikka tänään, että yritä koko ajan. Selvästi se vastahyökkäys viime. The use of IFVs to transport the troops. So again, quick question. Given the terrain of Finland, would it not be more effective to use helicopter to transfer large amounts of troops quickly? And also, given the overwhelming size of the enemy you may be facing, would IFVs and tanks be safe? They'd be easy targets, no? Kind of like what we're seeing now.
Seis!
pois pasinuraa pitkin! Liukkana ja Kujala, ottakaa Tamminen mukaan!
Mistä meillä on muuta? Vahvin.
Jessus mun pelästyy, kun se tonne juoksi ja Miina. Näit kukaan sitä? Se oli paha. Se näki. Se oli hyvä.
Okay, some night vision goggles. Good stuff. See, I think because this is more around my time, when I was in the army, I'm more familiar with the gear and the tactics than I am with the modern stuff. I really like this. This is something to me that was also missing in the modern video. The use of night vision goggles, hit and run troops at night, using the terrain to your advantage. Actually, that was completely missing from the 2020 video. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Meneekö kauan?
Ei pitäis mennä enää.
Hyvä.
Kauan. Onko sullakin täällä?
And again in the 2020 video we didn't see the use of the infamous ski troops. Was there a reason for that? You guys still have ski troops, don't you? And that may be because it was set in summer. I know, it was set obviously during a warm time, but I thought parts of Finland are continuously in ice and snow. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Pataljoonan yhteydet toteutetaan viestisuunnitelman mukaisesti. Radiohiljaisuus pidetään taistelukosketukseen saakka. Liikkeelle lähtö 4:30. Toimikaa!
I must say, throughout the years, you guys have really kept up your armed forces. They're so well equipped compared to what we had. As I said, we had good gear, just not enough of it.
2 käsikranaattia per mies, savuperkeä.
Viestiyhteys tykistöön. Valmis.
Täällä 1100. Heikki 0500.
Kaikki asemassa! Asemaan! Tuhoa! Puoli alle. Maali selvä! 2. Huomio!
I'm just trying to see, but I haven't seen any anti-tank traps or anti-tank roadblocks, Dragon's Teeth, etc. put up in the cities. Is there any plans for those, or was there back then? I did see the mines being laid earlier, but as I said, I thought they were AP mines rather than AT mines.
Kaikella!
Excellent use of your terrain to your advantage here. Excellent. Again, that's something I'm familiar with. It's what I would have been trained in. I couldn't see with the smoke, but what was the machine gun with the drum? Was it a Gustav? Okay, he's using a rifle grenade. Never fired one in my life, believe it or not. Never even trained on it, believe it or not. Take his ammo, dude, take his ammo. Okay, it's not an AK. Apologies for saying that with the rifle is an AK. It's not. Okay, I just looked up. The translator has given me the name of the rifle, an RK-95. Not a weapon I'm very familiar with. And here we have the poor conscripts having to watch this saying, do you see now why you're here? Okay, I just looked up the translation there. Entoyas means what if. I like it. Everybody, welcome back. And that's the end of Taistelukentta 1998. And I have to be honest, I think I preferred this one much more than the 2020 version. Why? Because I felt this one had two things going for it that the other one didn't. Not that the other one is bad at all. It's also an excellent video. But what this had was that sense of nationalism and pride. This is your heritage. This is your culture. This is what you're fighting for. I think that's a big miss from the 2020, and I'll be honest, and if it was done for PC stuff, shame on you, whoever directed that, shame on you for falling for that. If it was done for another reason, fair enough, ignore what I just said, right? My apologies. The realism of this, I think, is far superior. We've seen a lot more people getting injured. We've seen the use of Finnish terrain to good advantage by the Finnish soldiers. We've seen the use of snipers, basically guerrillas like I was speaking about from the Irish perspective, what we would do in the cities. We've seen the laying of mines. A lot of stuff in this I think is a bit more realistic than what we've seen in the 2020 video. Just my view. But also I will say I could be a bit biased. This is closer to my age and my time. I left the army around this time. And so it feels more real to me from that perspective as well. So there could be a bit of age bias in there as well. I openly admit that. But if I had to pick, this one would win by a lot, I'll be honest. Of course, the 2021 is updated to include modern things like, you know, cyber attacks, but we had a bit of this here. I just felt, yeah, this is more real, more tangible. I think if war kicked off tomorrow, you're much more likely to experience what you had here than what you had in the 2020, leaving out the fact that weapons have changed and all of that. And of course, you have modern fighter aircraft and drones and stuff now in the 2020 version. But in terms of the casualties, use of terrain, as I spoke about, the defense of the ports, the concrete bunkers, yeah, I felt this one. In fact, I think whoever directed this should be asked to make a full-length feature film out of this, because I think you could make a very good fictional film based on what the bones of what they had here. So thank you for the recommendation to watch the 1998 version. Thank you again, which came from that kind commenter who did the translation. It was great to see both videos. It makes me really ashamed of our government here and their lack of investment in our own defence forces. Really ashamed when I see what you guys do. We have had similar threats as I spoke about. We have an ongoing situation in the north, which, while peaceful now, and hopefully, thank God, it'll remain that way, has the potential to kick off. We spend too much time worrying about overseas, to be honest. We just spent a load of money buying our largest ever naval ship. And guess what? It's most likely going to the Mediterranean to pick up illegals. Whatever you think about that, I don't agree with it, I'll be honest. But whatever you do think about that, we shouldn't be spending our money to pick up other people's people. Anyway, I won't go into that. That just annoys me. As I said in the other video as well. So, but listen, it's a pleasure to watch this, guys. Keep the recommendations coming in. I'm really enjoying my reactions to Finland. I've learned a lot about your history, a lot about your civil war, a lot about the Winter War, a lot about the Continuation War. And it's been a pleasure to deal with 99.9% of ye. The couple of crazies and nut jobs and people I didn't get on with, fair enough. Not going to get on with everyone, am I? No one does. And Irish are cranky anyway and like a fight, so there you go. But anyway, guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining me for this video. In the meantime, please join me for the next one. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Please check out my Patreon below. I have full-length reactions to everything, exclusive reactions such as Band of Brothers. You'll get a 7-day free trial. Something like 92% of my viewers are not subscribed. It's only pressing a button, guys. I really need the help because the algorithm has shoved me out to Pakistan and Bangladesh for some godforsaken reason. Do you realize I get third world prices when I'm being viewed? And they don't even view. They click in and out for 2 seconds, right? Because most of them don't have internet. They have phones, they have mobile plans, and they can't spend their data. They don't get unlimited data like we do in the West. So they only watch shorts. So they're not interested in my long form videos. So I don't know why the hell they're clicking into them. Basically, I have to try and make a living out of this. I had to medically retire recently. So I am putting out the begging bowl a little bit and saying, look, just don't have to subscribe to my Patreon, but just at least hit the like, the share, the comment button, so I get directed back to first world countries and get first world prices. I literally, from Bangladesh and Pakistan, get 13 cents for every 1,000 views. Try living off that, man. I'm not living in Pakistan or Bangladesh, so I can't afford to live on their prices. Anyway, enough of me moaning with a begging bowl. Again, thank you for joining me. God bless you. God bless your families. Take care. And see you next time. Bye for now.